Both of these players are really good, experienced hover players, and alongside me I have Drac. Hello, Drac.
Hello, that's me. I've been here for a few other runs, so it's nice to be back. I like to do this. It's fun.
Yeah,
that's what I got.
Awesome. And did you want to maybe run down a little bit of how hover movement works?
Yeah.
While we're waiting.
Basically, for those of you who have been around since like the 90s, this is basically Weebles Wobble, but they don't fall down %. So the entire premise of going fast in hover revolves around holding your control stick forward and then kind of alternating between like 10 and 2, kind of like you're driving. Just kind of wobbling back and forth between those. That wiggling movement is going to pick up a lot of extra speed. So you're going to see the runners doing a lot of that. Additionally, when you see at the end of like boosts, you're going to see them do a little bit of a bounce just to help carry that speed a little bit longer than normal. Those are kind of the two main things about hover.
Yep, for sure. Those are the important parts of hover. Snaking, A-tapping, and holding the R button.
Yeah, never let go.
Yep. Sometimes you'll see these players hopping to like go for bananas on something like Hot Top, and we're off. We're off, and they're pretty synced at this point, which is awesome. There's very little delay between the two players. So Joe raced yesterday, and I believe he had a very close race with Moritz. And Halul has raced, I believe, once before against Ben. Oh, having some issues with the jumping. He jumped over, accidentally let go of his button and jumped over the last zipper, which is going to give Joe a bit of an advantage there. He's flying around the track. A 19-second lap. Holy cow. Shows just how good shows just how good Joe is at playing hover. He's going to get a low 40s here. 42. Joe's PB is almost a 28, if I'm not mistaken. He has a low 29 that he got a couple of months ago, and Halul has a 36 PB that he got right before the tournament started, maybe even during the tournament. Both players now on Fossil Canyon.
And there have been a lot of PBs that have happened in this tournament.
Yes.
Seems like just about every player has gotten a PB somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's awesome to see these players in all vehicles getting PBs. So Halul's actually opting to do the time trial version in the canyon area. He's going to go through the lower section while I believe Joe was going for the balloon.
So Joe did also go through the bottom section, at least on the last lap, but it looks like he's going on the time.
Oh, okay. So maybe he was just judging it based off where he, what his boost gave him. Sometimes if you get not a lot of boost, you'll just be more comfortable doing that way. I knew that Halul got a really bad bonk on the, in this section of FC last lap. He bonked on the top. He had a little too much speed going in. Missed the last zipper.
The nice thing about hover, though, is bonks actually aren't as bad as in other vehicles. Like, if you bonk in plane, you're losing about 6 seconds or so. If you bonk in car, you'll lose a few. But hover tends to really take them in stride. The only time a bonk is really bad when it's like a high-speed, head-on collision with a wall, but even it just kind of bounces off.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so both players going for the 3 bananas on the far left. That is, by what I've played, that's the fastest way, generally, to approach Jungle Falls hover. You can also just opt to go for only the 3 bananas on the outside section there, where are on the inner part of the first turn, which you saw Halul pass. Joe, I think, might have opted for the pond there. He's having very fast JF hover. Definitely
trouble with those computer characters, though. They're just kind of blocking off.
Yeah, lap 3 Jungle Falls hover is really tough for that reason. I think Halul might almost match what Joe's got. I didn't see his final time, unfortunately, but a 53 is a really strong time.
The thing about the computers in this game is there's no rubber banding, so the further ahead you are, they don't speed up to compensate, and the overall AI of this game is not very strong. So the computers in this game tend to more just be obstacles. The rate you're going, it feels like they're just kind of staying still.
Mm-hmm. So we're only on our 4th race for both players, and Joe has a 17-second lead. That's quite a large lead to start off a match.
Yeah, there are a lot of courses though, because the unique thing about Hover is you actually play every single one of the courses. So there's a lot of opportunity that either player will be able to either swap leads or extend it. So we'll have to see what happens. Race is definitely not over yet.
No, it's not over yet. For sure.
And Hot Top Volcano is a really interesting hover course as well, because you have to get used to being able to swap between riding on the ground and riding in liquid, we'll say.
The lava.
And the cheese fondue.
Yep, cheese fondue, yeah. There we go. And one tricky part, especially about this track, is the part that Joe and Halul both just went through. Getting through that area without actually falling off the ledge is pretty tough, to be honest.
Yeah, and it saves a lot of time to go along that little ledge.
And that all that time save mainly comes because the end section, when you're entering the final room, the lava here, if you can straight head-on bonk in that section, and it's quite difficult to actually to recover and not lose a couple of seconds from it. As Joe's now on Treasure Caves, an 1891 opening lap. Solid.
See Halul right behind, so just about 1 lap behind.
Yeah. Oh, so Joe's got about a 23, 22 second lead, extending his lead in Hot Top with an extremely strong time.
Halul about 1 second slower than Joe on the first lap.
Joe's gonna get a 52 in total on this track. Halul's gonna use this balloon and try to combine it with that zipper. However, a couple of bonks there after using it, and I mean, when Hover starts bouncing, it really bounces a lot. So Halul's gonna get probably about a 54. So that's a good time. 54 is not a bad time at all. And it still unfortunately loses some time to Joe, who's now on Crescent Island, and Halul is starting his first lap as Joe is almost ending his lap. So it's about 24-second difference. That's a massive lead, honestly.
Really is. So we'll have to see what happens in the rest of these courses, if Joe keeps up this pace, or if something happens and Halul pulls ahead. We do see 2 different strategies from these racers, because you can go around the boat, as we now see both people doing. Joe opted to go inside of the boat on that first lap to pick up a few extra bananas. Halul just decided to go around the outside, and I think there's kind of some debate in the community right now whether or not which one is faster than the other. So I'm not sure if a decision's been made on that yet, but we've seen a lot of different people going one way or the other.
So, if you don't opt to go on the right side of the first part of Crescent Island, because when you do the Crescent Island hover time trial, you're generally going into the right side. I missed Joe's final time, but going through the right side to grab the 3 or 4 balloons to start bananas, but you can't. But it's quite difficult and can lose some time, or in a race setting, so you might opt to go through the ship for those extra bananas, and it isn't too bad. It gives you the bananas you need. As Joe's now on Pirate Lagoon, and Halul has finished up his CI. Joe with a 17:50 something first lap is massive on Pirate Lagoon.
This is going to be the first of 2 hover exclusive track, which is unique to the other vehicles, is that there are 2 courses back to back that only hovers can go on.
Yep. And we have Pirate Lagoon and then Whale Bay. Halul getting a 20 first lap. Joe looks like he's going to get a low 50s, like a 52 or a 53. Yep, he'll get a 53. That's a really good time. And Halul missing that balloon, unfortunately. Now on to Whale Bay, another course that Joe's really strong at. I think overall that Joe is probably one of the strongest hover players in general. He doesn't play all that much, but when he does, he's really good at hover. So it's great to see him come out and play this tournament. He's an absolute legend of the game. He's been playing for many, many, many years. So now Halul is starting Whale Bay, and Joe is almost finished with his Whale Bay. A nice boost. He was able, if he wasn't able to get up the whale there, that would have been really tragic. But he fortunately was, and he'll finish with a 51. All right, and Halul making his way on lap 2 as Joe is going to start Everfrost Peak Hover, which is one of my favorite hover tracks in the game.
It's definitely a really good one. Everfrost is a default plane track, but they're honestly some of the most fun and also difficult, like car and hover tracks. So,
yep,
exciting to see what kind of times they get.
Mm-hmm. I am as well. Halul with a 5140 of his own, he pretty much matches Joe. So there's no time gain or lost here. So Joe missing that first zipper, he does recognize that you can just jump up into the zipper to get some form of a boost. But there's nothing better than in this game than doing the ground zipper to the air zipper of Everfrost Peak. It is so much fun.
Absolutely, and that's a nice thing I like about hover is they're the only vehicle. Well, not the only vehicle, but they're the only ground vehicle that can capitalize on both the ground boost as well as the air boost, because they can kind of bounce and sometimes kind of slip their way into air.
Yeah. An interesting fact is that on a course like Everfrost Peak, you can get your car like up and up. There's some courses where you can get high enough in the air where you could touch it, where you could use a ground zipper, but when you do that, you just go right through it. It just gives you no boost.
Super disappointing.
Which is like kind of disappointing, honestly. I thought that would be fun, like and crazy if that could happen. 25.81 second lap for Halul. So he goes for his third and final connection. Unfortunately, he falls just short. He falls just underneath that final zipper as Joe starts Walrus Cove now. Walrus Cove is an interesting hover track. It can be quite challenging, but you have quite a this section here. It can be quite shorter than you can do it in car, because it's a lot easier to go over the hills sections in the hover than it is in the car.
And another interesting thing about the hover vehicle as well is the ice that would normally be bouncy for some undeterminable reason is actually not for hovercraft. Hover just kind of slides right over it. Mm-hmm. But car is going to bounce on that blue raspberry jelly.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, so Halul is going to opt to use his balloon boost right before the zipper here. I believe Joe was using it before the in like kind of the middle of that section on the hill to kind of fly towards the zipper and land before it. But he does not have that balloon now. He can obviously go over and get it here, which he does. So let's see what time Joe finishes with here. Looks like he's going to get like a 134, 135. All right,
barely getting the 135 on a last second bonk on that post.
Yeah, so Halul with a really, really nice ending. A 31 and 36 is a nice lap. As Joe starts Snowball Valley here.
Ooh, a little bit of a bonk, losing some speed.
Yep, but Halul's able to pick up a couple more. Bananas there, opting to go over the hill there and loses his blue balloon. He is able to actually hop up and grab that final zipper. He'll get a 139 and Joe, losing his blue balloon going towards the valley, a little was not able to get the to clear the shield balloons there. Sometimes you can clear it in the air and you won't have to use your balloon early. And he got to use it there because there indeed was no balloon there anyway. So he got a 48. That's a very good time for Snowball Valley Hover. As Halul starts, he gets sniped.
Gets shot at, yeah.
That is something else. And that was not a homing missile. That was a normal rocket missile that he got hit with there. Because he's able to chain his boost there. He gets a 1450 second lap. That's really nice. As Joe's gonna do the what's going on here?
Entrance to that igloo.
Oh, Joe went all the way to the left side. There's actually so there are boosts on both sides, and Joe opting to go all the way to the right. That's very interesting.
The path for the hover is just go down center, kind of like a car, right?
The fastest path generally would be to take the zippers on the right side of the forest and get a double or a triple. But Joe is opting to try and get there's 2 or 3 zippers there as well that you can go for.
Yeah, there's 4 zippers on the left, but it's a much slower path.
Such an interesting path. So the path that Halul's doing is faster. He just was unable to hit the second zipper. But Halul and Joe both are not. Neither players are opting to do the shortcut 3-lap here. There is indeed a shortcut that you can do.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a fun little manipulation with the way the checkpoints work on this course.
Yeah,
and you're able to just kind of go back and forth between through the tree area and count the laps that way. And it is actually faster on Balloon Race to do that. I was like, both players though are just opting for the regular path.
Yep. As Joe has finished, and Halul is going to be going into his 3rd lap. So a full Frosty Village lap and more ahead with menuing. So Joe out to a commanding lead in the start and has not relinquished it at all. Halul just unable to connect for that double on lap 3. I didn't see how he did on lap 2. And Joe going through the very fast Haunted Woods hover should generally take players about somewhere between 50 seconds and a minute to complete. Most players have been completing within I'd say 55 seconds or so. Some have gone less.
So who will in that first lap opting to go through the fountain area as opposed to getting the balloons on the bananas on the side? So there's 2 or 3 bananas on either side of the fountain. Players opt to get on that first lap. But there are a ton of other bananas everywhere else in this course. So missing out on the ones at the beginning aren't a super big deal because you can basically anywhere else.
Yep. In hover, you generally tend to not even worry about the bananas at the beginning. Besides the first 4, as you see, Halul able to get quite enough bananas. As is Joe going to be now onto
Windmill Plains.
Very long Windmill Plains hover.
It's so long.
Yep. Okay, so Joe was almost in a bad spot and was able to bail himself out with having the zipper by having the balloon into the zipper. If he had just gotten the balloon through and not hit the zipper, that would have been pretty bad.
That was a really interesting launch angle into the tunnel.
Yeah, that would have been really bad. So Joe has connected on that lap, and I think Halul tried to do the same thing where we're using the blue balloon into the zipper to actually complete that section, and Joe actually opting to go and try for the air zipper in the path in that little water trail section. That is something that can be done, and it's quite fast if you can get it correctly. So Joe was able to actually touch the zipper there and get some extra speed. I think Halul is going to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's that little hop, just enough to get you into some of those air. Whoa, getting a ton of air on Joe's side.
He's going to finish up, and Halul not opting to go for the air zipper at all, or going for that ground zipper.
Bounces off the wall, missed the blue balloon. That one's a really tricky one because it is really close to that wall.
Yeah. So Joe finished up his track, and we have Halul on his lap 3 now. Going to Greenwood Village Hover, a really neat track. I really like this track in the car vehicle.
It is definitely very satisfying when to go into car, and I guess Joe agreed because it looked like they were going to be loading into car there on this course.
Ooh, bit of a menuing error then. Okay, so Joe opting maybe he missed the zipper, and so he just decided to not even bother to go for the zipper that's all the way on the other side of the well. Halul finishes up his course.
Yeah, and that makes sense to do. Going at the regular speed, it'd take a lot of extra time to go over to that zipper when you might as well just cut the corner at that point.
Yeah.
So that zipper is going to carry you all the way to the other side, like we just saw on Joe's side. Halul going into the Greenwood Village now.
Yep. So Halul also might also probably miss the thing there, as he opts to also not go for the zipper there.
So he did get that first zipper. He just decided to cut that corner.
Oh, okay. So maybe he didn't get he didn't get a large boost probably then. Or he just opted just to do that anyways, but lap 2 here, he has opted to grab the zipper, and he has opted for the balloon. Both players opting for the balloon. I have seen some players not go for that blue balloon and just cut the corner, which I don't think either. I think if you use your balloon properly, it's probably a bit faster. Oh, Halul unfortunately turning, and there's no way to avoid that. To avoid the oil slick. Joe's going to enter the third and final hover default track, which is Boulder Canyon.
It's also another hover exclusive track. There aren't any hover default tracks that aren't exclusive.
Yep.
Oh man, almost falling off of that drawbridge.
Yep, that would have been
a tournament first.
That would have been a bit of a time loss for Joe. However, that's very recoverable. If you fall off if you have that where you just don't land on the bridge, you just go on the right side and pop up after the drawbridge. As he finishes with a strong first lap, Halul now going to join him on Boulder Canyon. Joe missing the zipper, but missing the blue balloon, but he's going to just do the time trial strat there. And just opt to touch both of the zippers. He got a really nice boost in his second lap, but Halul also getting a very nice castle jump there as well.
Boulder Canyon's nice too, because you can see where, right before that castle area, and Halul is coming up to it right now, where they actually pretty much intentionally bonk on this wall, and that kind of launches him over to the side to help him take that turn. That's actually a case where bonking is actually beneficial for hover.
Yep, indeed. There's a few spots where players will intentionally bonk and hover. We saw that both on Boulder Canyon here from the players, and also in the previous track from at the end of the lap for Joe. At least he was using the intentional bonks to kind of just ride the wall to get towards the finish line. And now Joe is in Space Dust Alley. He's in the final 4 tracks, and Halul is going to finish up his Boulder Canyon and also move into Space Dust Alley himself. A 1:18.38 from Halul. I think, based on what I saw for Joe's time, he probably got either a 1:17 or a low 1:18 as well. Based on what I saw at one point for his time after the castle jump for lap 3.
So they're both going with some pretty solid, keeping pace with each other. Halul just needs a way to cut out some excess time, try to break ahead. Who we just saw going through that tunnel, not affected at all by the lightning, because it only seems to affect the plane. Even if you go right through it in hover or car, if you manage, it doesn't actually stop you unless you're in a plane.
That's true. Let's see. So I believe Halul uses the balloon Okay, he is also picked up the strat that is pretty optimal for hover, which is you boost and then you hit the zipper. You do ground boost into the zipper. Whatever, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, we're picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, he's got the triple both laps. I don't know if Joe did. I don't think he necessarily did. I think Halul might have also gotten a. I feel like he also got that little extra boost from the air zipper, but
Yeah,
good laps for Halul start.
Triple blues.
Yeah, good stuff for Halul to start. He's not going to have the triple here. He'll have a single balloon if he even gets that, depending on how the CPU go. All right, he gets it. Joe on Dark Moon Caverns. Both players are playing just extremely strong. I just think that I just think like the first two worlds that, and maybe like Frosty Village only was like what separated these two players was the first world. Halul might have just been getting like the first couple of tracks in for the day, or maybe just feeling a bit of nerves racing a good player as good as Joe. But I think both players have been playing this game for a while, so both doing really well. Both about one Dark Moon Cavern lap ahead though for Joe. There's time is 100. Oh, go ahead.
Joe got that early lead, like we were talking about, and then after that they've just kept pace. So it's hard to say that one player is better than the other there because they're very like equal in skill. Just got that early lead and just hasn't been able to shake it.
Yeah, this is a case where Halul might be able to get a really nice PB. I don't really know his pace, but I know that Joe has a 29. If Joe's gonna play to a 29, then Halul might also get one himself. But it depends on what type of 29 Joe's looking at. But Halul having a 30-36 PB, he's about over a minute behind in PB, but he's less than a minute behind in the race. So Joe's going to finish up here. He's going to get what looks to be just barely under a 140. He's going to get a 150, a 149 for himself. Halul finishing up his lap 2 with a 37. Missed the zipper there on the final lap, but that's not a big deal. Sometimes that zipper isn't your friend. If you just take it wrong, you'll just bonk your head on the top. As now Joe moves to Star City, where Diddy's giving him a bunch of pain at the beginning. The AI at the beginning of Star City are so annoying.
Yep. Because you're trying to get those bananas, you're trying to weave around and get them all, but all those computers are just perfectly in your way. Now, there is a shortcut in Star City for hover. I believe in Balloon Race it is actually slower, so I don't think we're going to see anybody going for it.
Yeah.
Essentially, at the top of this hill here, you can turn around, kind of loop around some of the exhibits of modern art that you see in the city section, and just kind of go back and forth, quick lap.
So the shortcut lap for this track is only used in time trials, just because it's so long. You have to go so far back in the actual track to get the trigger that it's not worth it. Because you have to go all the way back around, all the way essentially to the front cave, and then turn around. So Joe got a 31.95 second lap. Halul is keeping up really nicely. He's going to get a 32.96 lap 1, which is an extremely fast starting lap on Star City Hover. Joe's struggling a bit there with the AI.
Yeah, and just to clarify on that shortcut too, when you say time trials, what we're really talking about is like the single lap, because like you mentioned, there's so much to really backtrack on that it really just matters just trying to get that single fast lap. Ooh,
Halul running into a hidden oil slick that you really couldn't see on the ground there.
Yeah, Joe had the exact same one actually on the same lap. It was pretty identical. I feel like the AI just have the same ideas. It's good to see that the computers are giving both of our players the same difficulties to overcome.
All right, so Joe is going for the shortcut. I believe he missed the trigger. It looks like he might have missed a trigger.
It looks like he might.
No, he didn't.
He
no, he
got
didn't.
it.
Okay, I thought because there was no wrong way showing on his screen, which is why I'm so confused.
Yeah, it might have come on very
There it is.
briefly. Yeah,
There
so
it
that
is.
comes on.
Now
It'll
we're
be
starting
one
to
way
see
right
them.
now.
Yep. So Halul, I don't believe that Halul opts to do the shortcut. He might have changed and starts doing it now.
We'll have to see.
Yeah.
It's not a massive difference, but it is definitely helpful to go for that. We'll see right now.
Okay, so
look,
Halul does go for it, and he's
Just
just
the wrong way.
making sure
Wrong
he
way
gets
goes away.
Yeah, so we're gonna see if it's done right. We should see a wrong way right there, which is why it was so confusing because I didn't see it on Joe's screen. He didn't get that wrong way message where Halul did. So Halul did successfully do it. He's gonna,
And we can see that he got it because right at that part of the tunnel, he's randomly just switched from 8th to 1st as the in-game character is just like, yeah, sure, that's a lap, that counts.
So, oh yeah, pretty much. But yeah, once you hit that trigger for the turnaround, like you just have to. It's all looking for the different indicators that you see. So Joe's gonna finish with what looks to be just over a 140. So he's gonna get like a 143-ish time.
Which is a pretty solid time.
144. So a 29 from Joe. Halul will not very likely be able to get a new personal best time, but he is going to race and get a 30. So Joe just putting up an insanely good 29.59 is well 30 seconds above Halul's actual PB. So Halul, like when you race someone and you know that they have such a large gap on you PB wise, and I think he should have gotten both of the triggers here again, so he should be fine. The AI are going to once again kind of get in his way, but he should be easily getting the trigger there and finishing with about a 146, 147.
And 146.
All right, so Halul finished with a 30.47, and Joe has finished with a 29.59.
Yeah, so a really close race.
Yeah, really good race for both players. And great to see both players doing a good job on the Spaceport Alpha shortcut. There are players who will be doing the shortcut. There are players who will opt to not do it. So it's great to see players who are going for it, getting it correctly.
Yeah, because I don't think we saw any missed triggers this whole time.
Yes, we have. I lost a minute plus to it.
Oh no, I was talking about on this one. On this
one, yeah. I thought you were talking about in the whole tournament.
Oh no. There
was not a missed trigger by either player. But yes, I feel bad. GG's to both of you.
Definite GG's. This was a really good race from both competitors.
So yeah, both players wanna. I'll ping them both.
I'll let you handle that because I'm using Discord on. So
sorry for everyone being able to hear my keyboard go clickety clack. Just asking both players if they want to come in for an interview. They don't have to, obviously, but they can if they want.
It's contractually obligated. They wrote that in the rules.
It's not contract. No, it's not. I know you're just messing around. I'm sorry.
All right, so Joe says it's a bit too much noise, so that's fine. Honest, big GGs to Joe. Who says they're going to join for a little bit, though?
Sure, yeah, we'll hop in for a quick interview. And, hello. Yep, GG's on the race. Got a really good time. 30.49 is pretty good race time.
Yeah, I was expecting that to be a lot worse given the type of mistakes I was making, the multiple menuing errors, and yeah. So I think I played pretty well overall to get that time, despite some big mistakes.
Yeah, definitely. Like it was overall a really solid run. You kept really good pace with Joe for like in terms of like track to track pace for most of the race. It was a really solid job.
Yeah, he got a big lead in Dyno, which is where most of the lead actually came from. I think the only other track that there was any major difference was Frosty Village.
Yeah, I figured my dyno was really bad. Even without the menuing mistake, it would have still been bad. But then that's like another over 5
I
seconds.
I missed the menuing error, but so yeah. Overall, I mean, I'm sure you're not unhappy with all of your tracks. Obviously, you did pretty well on most of them. You got the full shortcut for Spaceport Alpha, which is always nice to see.
Yeah, I had a couple nice tracks in there. I'll probably go watch later to see if I got any PBs. Some of them seemed like maybe close.
Sure, definitely.
But yeah, I mean, I didn't expect it to take the point here today. If I had, I would have been awesome. But I'm just happy to have felt like I played pretty well. And lose to Joe in tournament once again.
Yeah, Joe's a really good player, and I know that you faced him in the previous ATR tournament.
Yeah, he knocked me out of the bracket in the last ATR tournament that I was in.
Yeah. At least you got the bracket.
But at least I get to lose to a legend.
Oh yeah, Joe is the legend of the team. He's played for a very long time. He comes back, he de-rusts for a little bit, and he's right back to putting up massive times. So
I think we're gonna have the rest of us hover guys are gonna have our work cut out for us to stop him from going undefeated this tournament.
For sure. It almost happened yesterday. He almost lost.
That's right. Morks came really close.
Yeah. I'm glad I raced Morks before he was at a 29 level to have it be a close race.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I got to say. So thanks for commentating.
Thank you for coming in. Thanks for giving a short interview, and I think that's it for our, and that's it for our races today. As far as we know, maybe we'll have something pop up later, and we'll be back. But until then, I have been Fish, and alongside me has been Drac.
Hello.
And thank you all for watching so very much.
Thanks, guys. I hope you guys had a good time. Stay followed, stay tuned for more races. We've got them happening all over the place. I think we might have some tomorrow. I do know for a fact we've got more on Tuesday. So
we have a race tomorrow night. I'm racing tomorrow night against Sojulix at 10:30 p.m. Eastern.
So you're
a late one.
My hover teammate.
I am.
So good luck for that, but understand that I am contractually obligated to support my team.
Yes, you are. I would expect nothing less. All right.
So have a great day, everybody. Thank you all so much for coming out. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Have a good day.